What happened to Gideon and the 300 men? The story of Gideon can be found in the book of Judges in the Bible, specifically in chapters 6 to 8. Here's a summary of the key events. Gideon was a judge chosen by God to save the Israelites from the oppression of the Midianites. At the time, the Israelites had turned away from God and were worshipping idols, so God allowed the Midianites to conquer them and take their crops every year. One day, the angel of the Lord appeared to Gideon while he was threshing wheat in a winepress, hiding from the Midianites. The angel greeted Gideon as a mighty warrior, though Gideon saw himself as weak and belonged to the smallest clan in his tribe. The angel told Gideon that he was chosen by God to save Israel from the Midianites. Gideon doubted this and asked for a sign to confirm. He prepared an offering, and the angel consumed it with fire. This convinced Gideon that he had indeed encountered a messenger from God. God then commanded Gideon to tear down the altars of the false gods and build an altar to the Lord. Gideon obeyed, but at night because he was afraid of the people's reaction. They discovered it was Gideon and demanded his death, but Gideon's father defended him, saying if Baal was truly a god, he could defend himself. As the call to fight against the Midianites spread, Gideon gathered an army. But, feeling uncertain, Gideon asked God for more signs. He placed a wool fleece on the ground and asked God to make it wet with dew while keeping the ground dry. God granted this sign. Gideon later asked for the opposite, a dry fleece and a wet ground, and God granted that too. With an army of 32,000 men, Gideon prepared to face the Midianites. However, God thought the Israelites might take credit for the victory with such a large army, so he told Gideon to reduce his forces. Gideon allowed any man who was fearful to leave, and 22,000 departed, leaving only 10,000 soldiers. Still, God felt the number was too great, so he instructed Gideon to bring the men to a stream. There, God told Gideon to observe how the soldiers drink water. Those who lapped the water like a dog while keeping their attention on the surroundings were chosen. Only 300 men passed this test, and the rest were dismissed. With his small band of 300 soldiers, Gideon and his men went down to the Midianite camp. They split into 3 groups and surrounded the camp in the middle of the night. At Gideon's given signal, the men blew their trumpets, broke their jars, and shouted, "A sword for the Lord and for Gideon." The sudden noise and confusion caused the Midianites to panic and start fighting amongst themselves. Gideon's small band of men chased and defeated them, with the help of God, completely routing the Midianite army. Finally, Gideon pursued and captured 2 Midianite kings, Oreb and Zeb, and executed them. The Israelites then offered Gideon the position of king, but he declined, reminding them that it was God who ruled over them. Under Gideon's leadership, the Israelites had peace for 40 years, and he became a respected and influential judge. However, after Gideon's death, the people once again turned to idolatry, undoing the progress made during his time.